Hello and welcome to Heartrepreneur TV. I am your co-host, Val McGallant. Super excited to have you here today inside of our Facebook group, and those of you out on YouTube land, happy to have you here as well. We have a really great show for you today and an exciting guest to share with you. Our show topic today is how to attract more ideal clients by utilizing the flame method. And I've got a special guest here. His name is Merriman. He's the founder, CEO, and chief biz ally of Biz Toolbox. He is also a partner of Crescendo, which is an e-learning startup where he has served as COO and support manager. Grant is from Utah and is a grateful husband, father, and man of faith. Welcome to the call, Grant.
Thank you so much. So happy to be here.
Really excited to have you here. So we had it right in this subject line about utilizing the flame method. And I'm sure everybody's guessed by now that you are the creator of the flame method. Because otherwise, why would we be talking about it? Before we dive into the flame method, I really want to know what inspired you to begin helping businesses with their client attraction process?
Yeah. So when I was starting Biz Toolbox, kind of the inspiration behind it was I really wanted to help other startups and other businesses to be successful with some of the things that I learned, right, with Crescendo. I've been working there. It's my friend's startup company, and so I've been working with him for about 5 years there and learned a lot of great stuff. And anyways, when I was working with Terry here at Heartrepreneur and doing lots of research, I kind of realized that getting more clients and being able to get more qualified leads was a big problem that a lot of startups had. And so I really wanted to help there. So I was like, okay, what ways can I help? Doing research and what skills and abilities I had, I was able to kind of, okay, this is what I want to do and how I came up with the flame method and all that stuff. So I really want to be able to help these companies to be able to attract more ideal clients in hopefully helpful ways.
Perfect. Thank you. And so obviously you were able to do some of that inside of Crescendo, which gives you a little bit of more background, not just the skills and trainings that you've got, but actual live experience with getting it done with your friends and your business. It's obviously a partnership. So FLAME, is that an acronym?
It is. Yeah, it's an acronym. And I think it also is a metaphor, which I'll explain a little bit later. But the acronym for FLAME is the F is for foundation, setting up a solid business foundation. L stands for love. So the importance of loving and serving your clients and your audience in a genuine, authentic way. And then A stands for attract. So attract through things like lead magnets, quality content marketing, through providing value and really making a difference. And then the M stands for masterclass, or like a challenge to encourage people to run masterclasses or a challenge that can provide value and help find your ideal client that way. And then E stands for evolve. And evolve is like, optimize, keep going, do A/B testing, stuff like that.
Absolutely. And that makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, creating a strong foundation for your business, it's talked about, like people know you need a strong foundation for your house, otherwise it'll crumble, right? And a lot of people don't end up knowing what it takes to create that, like what it actually takes to be able to create a strong foundation. So I really love that that's part of your method and really the first step. I mean, it seems to me, and I might be wrong, but it seems to me that these things kind of build upon each other. Like I'm hearing the foundation is important. And at the same time, what comes after that initial foundation is the love for your clients and audience. And to me, that builds upon that foundation and makes it even stronger. Am I understanding it correct that these kind of build on each other?
They do. Yeah, that's totally correct. And obviously you can have love before you, create your foundation because you have that passion. But I think maybe just that showing that love and that doing that service once you have that foundation there. You're exactly right.
Putting the love out there. And I love the inclusion of attract as part of that foundation, because that's what you're teaching. Like if you're right at the beginning, how to attract more ideal clients. So it's an important, and it's right in the middle. It's central to the whole method. I really like how this is kind of laying out, and how these things
Work together.
and work together and insert themselves in an appropriate location. Because loving your clients is really important, and loving your audience, being able to provide that value to your audience. And you want to make sure that you're attracting the right audience. I mean, in the show title, we put in their ideal clients, and that's making sure that we're attracting the right audience. So I love that that's something you're supporting your clients with. Master classes. Now, it's a pretty diverse word. And I think that's really important when you're working with your clients and teaching your clients, that a master class it's never a one size fits all thing. So it really is going to be, what are we creating for your business, and what's going to make the difference for your clients and your audience. So
Yeah.
again, that's my interpretation of it. I mean, I've been working with Terry for quite some time, so I think I'm basing some of this on stuff that I've learned from Terry. Am I on target with that?
Yeah, and masterclass can have other names as well that people have probably heard of, like challenges, workshops, boot camps, things like that. Um, but the goal with that, as you were saying, is once you focus on and you understand your audience and what
Mhm.
they're interested in, then you create this masterclass or challenge that really helps them to get a win and to get learn something that is going to be super valuable to them, but that's also related to the overall service that you're providing to that clientele, right? To those that is your audience or target market. And then you can offer that after, say you give this great value in the masterclass or the challenge, and then you say, hey, if you want more help, this isn't for everyone, but if you want more help, I can help you with X, Y, and Z. And so then that's
Right.
a great way to attract clients or attract people that are interested, that are in your audience. And then your ideal clients will raise their hands right after the challenge of the masterclass.
Right. And then their last step is evolve. And I really appreciate this one, because as we're building our businesses, I mean, we might start as a startup, and then move into, a somewhat established business. We are still in that process of evolution, because if we're not, then, as our world changes and as our client needs changes, we're not keeping up with it. So I think what you're saying for the E in your flame method is really important for businesses to understand, that they may have a great offer now. How are they going to continue to support their clients? Because it is all about relationships. And so why would we want to solely be building new relationships? Why wouldn't we be wanting to continue to expand on relationships that we have? And the only way that's going to happen is through evolution.
Yeah, exactly. And especially with the, technology, AI, and how
Mm-hmm.
fast things are growing these days, you need to stay on top of that. And then also, um, that's just a great way to improve your company, to improve your services, your profitability, all that stuff, is
Mm-hmm.
by innovating, learning from your experience, doing A/B testing. And so that's so important to stay relevant and to stay competitive in today's market.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay, now at the beginning, you touched on that this is not only an acronym, but it's also I can't even remember the
Metaphor.
word, metaphor. That's the word.
Yeah.
It's also a metaphor. I'd like to hear what you were feeling about that.
Yeah, for sure. Kind of why I was so excited about the name flame method, besides how the acronym worked out well with kind of what I wanted to use it for, right? With what I just talked about. Also, I love the idea of a flame, the analogy or metaphor of a flame. So if you kind of imagine that you are in a dark room, maybe like a cave, and there's other people, if you're trying to provide value and also attract people to you, imagine lighting a flame and holding it up, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
other people around you are then able to see you better. And then, what does the flame do? It provides light and heat, right? So that's kind of symbolic of the value that you're able to provide in your business. And then your ideal clients will see that. They'll say, oh, that I want more light, I want more heat, I want what you have to offer. And then it'll attract them to you. And then also, as the business owner, when you put that light up, so to speak, you're able to see others better, you're able to help others better, see what their needs are. And so I just think it's a really good analogy about the flame method of what we can do, to quote unquote light a flame, and then to be able to use that to serve and help others.
Oh, I love that. That is really good. And I can absolutely see what you're sharing there. As you were talking about that, I kind of blended it with some of the things that Terry teaches, and she talks about a parade of qualified leads, and you're helping people find those ideal clients. And you're talking about the flame, and I got the picture of like an Olympic athlete at the beginning of the parade with the torch, right? And everybody's falling in behind. So I can absolutely see that visual that you provided there, the metaphor and the visual of that, the light and the dark. So shining a light so that people can see the path to their ideal clients. They get to be seen, and they also get to see their clients. And I liked too the light and the heat, because it's kind of those are things that we need to thrive and survive in the world, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense that be part of the analogy around your flame method. I really like that. I really like that a lot. Okay.
Thank you. And I like the Olympic flame that
Right?
you just talked about. It's a good analogy, part of the analogy too. I'll have to use that.
No, that's going to be going in your social media. So, okay. So let's kind of touch on some of the let's touch a little bit on some of the things inside of each of these aspects that is in your method. So when it comes to creating a foundation for your business, if you were to recommend one really important thing to pay attention to as you're creating your foundation, what would you recommend?
If I had to choose one, I'd say a very effective landing page, right? Because you need some place for the people that you're attracting and that you're serving to go to, so that they can learn about what you do and what you can offer them, both those things that are of free value and those things that maybe if they want to pay to get that extra help or that extra service or product or whatever it is, to have that landing page that can help not only share a little bit more, give them more information, but that also helps to convert them, right? So whether that involves like lead magnet stuff, which we can talk about in a moment, but it really can be very effective. Or if you don't have one, or if you have one that's not very effective, but that's really confusing to your target audience, then a lot of your efforts can get wasted, because potential clients just slip right through if you don't have that good foundation to help them.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So it's things such as a landing, because that's going to connect to one, it's hopefully communicating your passion for your clients, right?
Yeah.
So that's where it leads into the love part of it. And then that also leads into the attract part of it, because you mentioned having a lead magnet as part of the offer at that landing page, and that's part of that attract process. um, Even the master class can be followed through, right, with that flame or with the foundation of a landing page, and then the evolution comes in there. So yeah, I can see how that is a really good starting point when it comes to laying a foundation for your attraction process. So yeah, now love your clients and audience. Let's talk about that one. I know what I have for ideas about that, but I want to hear how that fits in with your method and how you support your clients with that aspect of it.
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think, that's one of the reasons that I think business can be so great is when you really focus on the needs of your clients and you're trying to provide real value versus just trying to do, like a money grab, or sometimes you see a lot of cutthroat stuff in business and sometimes things that are like unethical. And you just like, as a client, sometimes you're like, oh, like, I don't know if I can trust this company, that's never a good feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
you also want to have some purpose and passion behind what you do. And if you really care about your clients, if you love them, then you'll try to understand them. You'll see what they need. You will help them to have the best experience possible, right? Like you'll over deliver, go above and beyond. And I kind of noticed that a lot at Crescendo. And so that's why I loved working at Crescendo, is that they really focused on providing a great product and service for so we at Crescendo, we help people prepare for the bar law exam. And so we
Okay.
have that, and for other legal courses, we do e-learning courses and stuff for that. And so I just really appreciated my friend, the founder, his name's Adam, and all that he did to love and to understand his clients, which were people in law school or that had just graduated that were preparing to take the bar exam, and things that he did to really help his clients. I just thought that was super cool, and I was really grateful for that. And um, as we love our clients more, I think that shows, right? That passion, that authenticity shows. And then we
Mm-hmm.
are able to create products and solutions that they really need and that create long-term benefit and change for them, right? I guess at least
Absolutely.
mostly if it's like a snack or something, and maybe it's not long-term, but I guess hopefully they still like remember, oh, like that's an awesome company or whatever, So the feelings that they
Mm-hmm.
have, right? They'll remember that.
Right. Right. Okay. So what I heard there is that what you're end up teaching your clients, and I think it's important to have that as part of your methods, because when you're attracting your clients, if that word doesn't resonate with them, they're probably not your ideal clients. So I think you're also leading by example, by including that in there. Because I had purpose. Part of loving them is that your business does have purpose, and passion. There's authenticity there, there's integrity there, and there's coming from that place of service. So you're exemplifying that while you're also supporting your clients to exemplify that as well, so that it keeps repeating out into the world. So I really appreciate that. I'm hearing a lot more words that can go with your flame method too, because there was one you just said, and it was for F, and now I lost it.
Yeah. I'll have to go
Because
back
I
and
mean,
watch it.
yeah, we'll have to definitely. Because I mean, even with when it comes to attract, right? I'm also hearing, we talked about authenticity as part of the love, right? And you want to have authentic attraction, right? So I can see how it fits in there with that. So attraction, you referred that to be content marketing and giving value to clients. So you talked briefly about a lead magnet. That's one example of that content that you're putting out there to attract. What are some of the other things that we can be using as part of that attraction process?
Yeah, that's a great question. And kind of going, at coupling love into attraction, right? I think as we love and understand our clients, then we'll know how best to attract them, and what we can do to serve them and what they care about, what their problems are. And so that kind of goes in with the lead magnet, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you'll know, okay, what kind of lead magnet can I create that's provides value that they're interested in. And then also with your content marketing. So that, that can be everything from like social media posts, YouTube videos, things like interviews like we're doing right now, to be able to provide value to your audience that they care about and that, oh, this is really beneficial. And so then once you know them, you know how to attract them, right? Versus just kind of putting up random stuff. It's kind of doing that research, getting to know them as best you
Mm.
can, especially with this changing world we live in. And I really think, it's kind of a organic long-term game, right? If you're doing the attraction way, because it takes time for people to hear about you, and that's why it's good to reach out, and maybe you can comment and leave value in other Facebook groups. You can get on other podcasts where your audience might be and provide value there, right? So you can kind of find different ways of where your audience is to provide value and do these things that can attract them.
Okay, I like that. I like that. So you spoke about research, like being clear on what it is are the needs and the requirements of your ideal client. So being clear on that, providing content through the various platforms that are available. That could be lead magnets, that could be social media posts, YouTube, things like that, making sure that that's of value, make sure you're providing actual value to them, which is, again, stems back to that research thing. So there's a lot included in that attraction process. And I like that you spoke about commenting and contributing in other avenues where it's not necessarily you creating the content, because that, again, standing on my corner of my neighborhood and yelling out things isn't always the only way. I might want to go walking into other neighborhoods.
Yep.
Right. So I love that some of the things that you're talking about, that this thing about attraction is, there's a lot of possibilities in there, and that again, when it comes back to evolution and all of those other things, it's going to evolve. It's still a part of, start with one thing. Let's pick the one thing to get you started, again, building on that foundation. So I'm hearing how all of these tie together, and I'm hearing it a little bit differently in that it's not necessarily linear, even though the acronym does go in that way. It's not necessarily linear, because I'm going to be popping back into my foundation. I'm going to be popping back into love. I'm going to be popping forward into evolution, even as I'm just sitting in the attraction area of your method.
Yeah.
Am I hearing a lot of, is what I'm hearing accurate?
Yeah, and that's why I really like the Eve being evolve, because that's kind of, okay, if I'm going to improve, you got to kind of go through those stages or steps again, or whatever you want to call them. Let's relook at our foundation. Are we focused on the right niche, the right audience? Let's go and what are we doing to show love? Maybe we need to get to know our clients better so that we can serve them better. And so you kind of can keep going through, keep getting better, getting a stronger foundation, be more service oriented, attract better, have more effective master classes, things like that.
And so there's another E for evolve, is effective. When it comes to the evolution thing, and I very much appreciate that you have that as part of your method, because one of the things that can happen to us as we are in business is, I want to get it perfect the first time.
Yeah.
And understanding that we don't have to get it perfect at the first time, because what if that gives me What if that gives me more content? I didn't get it perfect. My clients told me this. I now have an idea for more content. Now have an idea where I can serve them better. I've learned what works and what doesn't work. Some pieces of it are going to work, some pieces aren't, and it's really okay. So are you able to support your clients with accepting evolution?
Yeah, for me personally, I even struggle sometimes with perfectionism, It's like I want it perfect
Mhm,
because you know, it's there's a reason that we like things to be perfect because we don't want to have to keep doing it again. But the thing is with business, sometimes even if I thought like, oh, this landing page or whatever, oh, it's perfect, it's really not. And then with that experience that you're talking about as you go through
mhm,
your business, use that experience to, oh, I actually realized that they want this, or this isn't landing super well. Like we can offer this instead. So as we have that experience, we're going to be able to improve or evolve our processes and our foundation and stuff, anyways. And
mhm,
so I think obviously it needs to be good, but perfect can be the enemy of good, right? And so we got to be careful. It
mm,
needs to be good enough, and um, I think, what does good enough mean? I think maybe we kind of have to figure that out. But like, what's the end result? Like, what's the goal of a landing page, or what's the goal of your masterclass? Can you help your clients and those that are interested, your ideal clients, or sorry, like qualified leads, I guess, that are interested? Can you help them help them get that win that you want? Can you help them learn about and sign up for your service? Like, is it clear and understandable? Like that, I think that's how you can know if it's good enough, is can it accomplish the overall goal, right? It doesn't have to be 100% fancy and, win an award or something, but can it help them get
mhm.
to where you want them to go? I guess, if that makes sense.
It does, and I'm hearing too how the word evolve applies in part of the process of going from, um, a somebody you don't know to a qualified lead to an ideal client, right? Like that's an evolution as well,
Yeah.
is bringing your clients through that. So there's a lot of really good wisdom in that. I liked what you said about perfect can be the enemy of good, because more often than not, and I know I've seen this in myself, as well, it's not good enough yet. It needs to be perfect, and so therefore I don't move.
Yeah. You
Right?
get
I end
stuck,
up
huh?
stopped because I want it to be perfect. And I remember years ago at Toastmasters, I did a speech about perfect, and perfect is boring because you don't move, you don't do anything, you sit there in one place. And I think that was one of the thoughts that had me go, well, I don't like boring, so I can't be perfect. So there's a lot of value in that as well. So we've actually just about reached the end of our time, and I really appreciated how this conversation went. So if you could offer just one piece of advice for someone launching a startup or someone looking to take their business to the next level, what would that be?
I think I want to focus on what we just talked about, right? Not getting stuck, starting and keep going, because I've seen that in my business, we're always learning, right? No one knows everything. No one's born an expert. And
Mhm,
so we need to be learning, and part of that great way to learn is to get started, right? So don't let the lack of perfection or the lack of knowing everything stop you from starting, right? So there's lots of ways to learn. You can get like a mentor, through networking. You can find people to partner with. That's one of the things that I've done, gotten some good mentors and good partners to help me do
mhm.
things that I'm still learning about. And as you go, you learn, and then you can keep evolving. And so, you know, you'll never get to great if you don't start. So I guess that's my
That's right.
advice: is start, move forward, follow the flame method and other methods and wisdom that you have to help you reach your business goals.
That athlete that was carrying the Olympic torch started out with crawling walking, running, whatever the sport was, but they started out and they built it up to get to that point where they're actually carrying the torch. So I think we need to remember that when it comes inside of our businesses, that it is a process, and to be kind to ourselves. I really appreciate that. So I want to make sure that people inside of our Facebook group and also out on YouTube know how to find you. And I know that you do have a website out there, biztoolbox with 2x's.com.
Yep.
And you're on social media as well. So for those of you inside of the Facebook group, you know how to find him. He's here. It's very easy to find. For those of you out in YouTube land, you can check out the website. And they do recommend that you stop by Heartrepreneurs with Terry Levine. I don't know if you've noticed, but that link's been going across the bottom of this screen right from the get-go. Come on over to Heartrepreneurs with Terry Levine, and you will be able to connect with Grant directly here. Easy way to find him. And you can hang out with other heart-based business owners like Grant, like myself, like Terry. And we're looking forward to getting to know you. Grant, thank you so much for your time, and thanks for sharing about the flame method and your philosophy behind supporting these business owners to attract their ideal clients. Really appreciate your time.
Velma, you're so welcome, and thank you for your time as well. I really appreciated being on here.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Have a brilliant day, and we'll see you next time on Heartrepreneur TV.
Thanks, guys.